Hey there, my name is Jake, and we're going to go over lists today for Python. Today we're going to do a brief overview of the methods of the list data structure in Python. Those methods will include index, append, extend, insert, remove, pop, clear, count, sort, reverse, and copy. You can find all this information and more on the Python website in their documentation. That link is listed above. Let's start with indexing Python list. As you can see here, we have initialized our list p1 with values. Starting off, to get the first value of the list, we're going to write p1 with an open and closed bracket. Inside those brackets, you'll be inserting the index number that you will want to use to retrieve that index's position value from. In our case, we want to start off with the very first position, which is going to be the number 0. List indexes always start with the position 0 and go to n-1. P1 at position 0 is going to return the value first. Next, we're going to be wanting to get the last value of the list. Here are two ways of doing that. The first way is getting the length of the list P1 and subtracting it by 1. The next way is by putting the number -1 as the index. List indexes can also start from the end of the list, which it always starts with -1 and go to the negative length of P1. Our next case is going to be a way to get a range of values. To do this, we need a start and end index. The start index is going to be inclusive, which means it is including that index value. The end index is going to be exclusive, which means it will not include that index value. As you can see, we get the values first and second from the list P1. The last way to get the value of a list is by using the index method. This method is useful to find the first occurrence of the value given at least a starting index. You can also provide it an end index. The first example is us trying to find the value second from the start index of 0 inclusively and the end index of 2 exclusively. If we look at our list, that is going to be the second index from our list P1. Our next example here is pretty much the same thing, but we start at index 2 inclusively and go to index 4 exclusively, which is going to find our next occurrence, which is going to be index position 3. Our last example of the index method is still finding the value second, but we just start with an index of 0 inclusively. That finds our first occurrence at position 1. For this next section, we will be covering the append, extend, and insert methods for list. These are all ways of adding values onto a list. One other way of adding to a list is this guy here. We can actually just add two lists together to create one list just by using the plus sign. Extend basically does the same thing as this above. Next, we have append. As you can see here, we can loop through each value in the list of P2 and append the value to P1. But if we just append the list P2 onto P1, you will actually be appending the list object instead of the individual values of P2. This is something to watch out for and be mindful of when using this method. And finally, for the insert method, you'll want to pass in an index and a value to insert it into the list. In this case, our index is 0 and our value is 2, giving you an answer of 2, 5, and 6. And just for some extra information, I've shown below some mathematical signs that will not work when it comes to lists, such as the division / symbol, the multiplication symbol, and the subtraction sign. So now I've shown you how to add to list, let me show you now how to remove items from the list. I've created 3 submethods to demonstrate some of these methods. The first method demonstrates the use of the pop and remove methods. The pop method will remove a value at the given index, whereas remove will try to find that value and remove it from the list. Once again, something to be mindful of when using remove is if it cannot find the value, it will error. The next two methods are just ways of using the remove method without having the code error out on you directly. You can use this method here to check if the value is in the list, and if it is, then remove it. Whereas the very last method puts the remove in a try catch and catches the error and displays an error message if it cannot find it. And finally, for our last section of the list methods, these methods are count, sort, reverse, and copy. These methods are pretty self-explanatory and pretty straightforward, but let's go over them quickly anyways. Let's start with count. Count takes the value that you want to find that in that list and counts the occurrences of that value in the list. So we are looking for 0 in the list P1, it will find that twice and return 2. Next, sort will sort the list by alphabet or numerically. You cannot have both, like example P3. This will cause an error. Reverse will, well, reverse the values in the list. I told you these were pretty self-explanatory. And finally, we have copy. Copy will make a shell copy of that list, and you can use that as a return type to set your new variable. And that's pretty much it for these list methods. If you want to use Python for Eclipse, go down to the description and check out that video on how to do that. Hey guys, thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on the video and drop a subscription. If you want to leave a comment to let me know how I'm doing, then do that below. Once again, catch you guys soon. Bye.